reformed, would you think? Or would you immediately come out and, just...
I do think I would be reformed, and I'd probably want to leave the area. I think I'd want to leave the state as to not end up in that prison ever again.
You would be positively reformed.
I absolutely. I think I'd be very much done with the business. I definitely would not have spent the entire 3 years attempting to come up with a better model. I definitely would not have been sitting around. Which is
exactly what Sarah did.
What we actually got wrong was A and B.
We let them into the bank in the first place. Next time we just crack open a window and ask them to pass the money through the slits.
We're going to set up stalls at the farmer market.
We'll call it complete privacy. Complete and utter privacy from your money. Right? And so, again, the moment she got out, she went right back to it, my man. Right? As soon as she got out, she was back to her old tricks. She opened a new women's bank in Boston and ran the same scheme.
She didn't even bother moving. In Boston.
She was bold, right? And she ran the same scheme from 1884 to 1886. After being forced to close that one, she gave up the game and returned.
You also have to give it to the legal system there, taking an entire 2 years to figure out she was doing the exact same thing in the exact same place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
they really took their time.
Now, there's a part here that
and she didn't go to prison again.
Well, I mean, she figured out the kinks, right? And she figured out the legal system, right? And that's what you do. But look, in this mailmagazine.com article, there's a part that I like here, and I'm going to read it to you. It said, yet, despite her notoriety, no one calls what she did a Howe scheme. The only reason Ponzi's version was memorable enough to become a namesake, says Halsart, is because by 1920, when he pulled it off, the newspapers that covered it had a wider, more national circulation. Howe's case, by contrast, was only covered locally. That, and he was a dude.
And he was a dude.
That's that. Exactly. I mean, the whole first part of that, yeah, sure. If this had been a guy who did this, I'm sure it would have been named after him, whether or not it was locally, right? So, though Howe and Ponzi did the same thing, we don't want to believe that women are capable of crime, let alone at such an elaborate and large-scale level, says pink-collar crime historian Kelly Paxton. Part of the reason Ponzi got the credit was because it's easier for people to believe that a man orchestrated that kind of scheme. In fact, I can't think of a single crime that's named after a female perpetrator, only female victims. Right. So, I mean, it says a lot about, just how we've been for the longest time is, we keep acting like women cannot get up to the exact same things that men can. And that's a big problem. Now, in this case, right, if I were a descendant of Sarah Howe, I probably would be thankful that it wasn't named the Howe scheme. Now, I don't know if she actually had any children, but all I'm saying is, in this case, but it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be up to us to make that decision, right? It's kind of like she did the thing.
She did the thing.
This was her brainchild. You know what I mean? Yeah. This was whatever Charles Ponzi did after that was just a derivation of the original, and Sarah Howe was the original, right? I mean, come on.
At least in the
States,
that's
how I feel about it. Exactly. Yeah. That we know of, right? So we gotta talk about that when we talk about this particular harebrained scheme. But that's the story of Sarah Howe. How are you feeling about this story, Sibel?
Oh, I think it's just fascinating. And
did you know about Sarah Howe before we started doing research for this episode?
I knew about Ponzi. I knew about Madoff.
Right.
I didn't know. Right. I've never heard of Sarah Howe.
A lot of people never heard about Sarah Howe, but now you have because you listened to an episode of Harebrained Schemes. And
yes, sir.
We gotta give her credit. But it's really, really crazy how hundreds of years later, we're only just finding out that the Ponzi scheme should actually be called the Howe scheme.
The Howe scheme.
It's,
right.
Yeah.
I think anyway. I really like the end of the Mel magazine article where it says history has an interesting tendency to forget the names of women and their accomplishments. The double helix, nuclear fission, and radio guidance, which is the basis for Wi-Fi, are just a few female-made advancements credited to men.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Did you know that, the technology behind the GPS was also, made by a woman of color for that matter, right?
No, I didn't. Crazy. I did know that frequency hopping was invented by a woman, which is what allows us to do a lot of our electronic transmissions.
Right. But hey, who needs to know that, right?
Yeah.
Who needs to know that, right?
Right.
I mean, if women were not allowed to open bank accounts, they definitely were not trying to give them any credit for anything, right?
No. I mean, there's
exactly.
I think it's very interesting how the entire thing sort of is pinned on how the society had effectively created so much vulnerability for women that a woman just saw that, oh, wow, there's such desperation for this that I'm going to step into this vacuum.
It's bad. It's really bad, man.
Yeah, it really speaks to what was really needed.
Bad. Yeah. So to wrap this up, going back to the Medium article, it says, in 1892, Howe died in her home in poverty after living for 3 months in a boarding and lodging house. To survive in her final days, she read fortunes, but preferred to call it reading astrology. At the end of the day, Sarah Howe still denied being a fraud, claimed her husband's brother's wife did it. Now, she's got to have a sense of humor. Come on. I mean,
husband's brother's wife.
No, it wasn't me at all. It was my husband's brother's
which husband?
Wife. And there you go. Which husband?
Which husband? Was it one of the two painters? Was it one of, or was it Othello?
Yeah. But interestingly, she did keep, it seems like she kept her name throughout, which is showing some bit of independence there, right?
I guess. I wonder if it was possible for her to even change it, frankly.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows what they got up to in 1800s Boston?
Because I've seen people women try to change their names in Pakistan. It is a nightmare.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Especially if you've been married once and then they try to change it back. It is a nightmare.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Learned something new. Why is that? It's kind of like, ooh, you have the stamp forever. You got to bear that forever type of thing.
It's kind of this inbuilt discrimination,
right?
But also that the system never built a way for it to change. Only for it to change backwards. Only for it to change one way. Only one way could your last name change as a woman.
Right.
From your father's name would be if you got married and then it changes to your husband's name.
Right.
And the system didn't build in a good way for it. So I'm assuming that that's part of the reason.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well. That was the story of Sarah Howe and how it should actually
be the Howe scheme.
The Howe scheme.
The Howe
exactly.
Schemes. Yeah.
So next time someone's talking about a Ponzi scheme, you say, you mean a Howe scheme? And they're going to be like, huh? And then you can just send them right on to this episode of Harebrained Schemes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jinx.
That's how we do it.
We matched up there.
Yeah. I know. We're just aligned, man.
I really love the fact that in her last few years, she started doing astrology. It really aligns with my thoughts about astrology.
Astrology.
It really aligns with my thoughts about astrology. So yes.
Which are
that
a little dubious. A little skeptical. There's just something. I can't place my finger on it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, to each their own. And to any fans of astrology that are listening, please do not hold Sibel's views against us. We apologize.
Yes. I've been told to just let everyone know to astrology folks, that if I upset them, that I
to the astrology quarter.
That I apologize, and that the reason for it is that I'm a Capricorn, and apparently that explains everything.
So the reason for not believing in astrology is
that I'm a Capricorn.
Okay, sure.
Is a Capricorn.
Sure. Makes a lot of
That's my sign. I'm
sense.
a Capricorn.
Right. Okay. Well, we will leave it at that. We hope you enjoyed this very first harebrained scheme and the story of Sarah Howe. And you should join us every Friday wherever you find podcasts. We are Harebrained Schemes, and I have been Bibi, and
this has been Sibel. I totally blanked on my name.
Did you black out? Did you black out again?
Why do I blank on my name so often?
Did you black out again?
I did.
Oh man.
I did.
You know what? We're gonna leave it in exactly like this. We're not.
Alfred, tell him to edit it. Tell him to do an edit. Alfred.
No.
Alfred, make him take it again.
Not gonna happen, Alfred. Not gonna happen.
It's great.
No, this has been great fun. This has been great fun.
And thank you to everyone who's joining us today for our first episode. We're really excited to have you.
First episode of Harebrained Schemes. That's right. And again, we are a part of the Podpire Network, a family of inspired podcasts. Exactly. So we hope that you join us again next Friday for our very next episode. You will be intrigued.
Toodaloo. Good night. Good night. I'm the vengeance. I'm the night. I'm the vengeance. I'm the night. I need croissants.
Croissants.
I said croissants.
Batman needs his cookies.
Alfred. Oh my goodness.
Where are the cookies?
You can't talk to me that way. I'm Batman. All right, guys. We're gonna go because once Sibel starts, there's
the party
no
don't
end in
stop.
sight. So yeah.
The party don't stop.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye.
And if you happen to have a story of a harebrained scheme that you think we should talk about, send that over to us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Please do. We're all here for it.
We're on Instagram as Harebrained Schemes Pod, right? Same on Twitter.
Yes,
just slide in the DMs. Slide in the DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But keep it classy. Right.
Let's keep it squeaky clean, boys and girls. Squeaky clean.
No unsolicited voters of a certain kind. Just keep it squeaky.
Squeaky clean. Bubbly clean.
Squeaky. Yeah. So just slide in DMs and let us know about the story, and we will check it out. Okay, that is it for the episode.
Yeah. Bye.